Yeah, let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beat's back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same.
Welcome to this Wednesday NHL betting preview edition of Pucks Across Borders on Sports Addict Live. It's not Sports Addict Live anymore. I keep forgetting. I changed up the YouTube. It is now officially a Pucks Across Borders YouTube channel. And of course, our friends at Total Apex Sports, brought to you by the one, the only First Round Collectibles. Right now with our promo code Sports Addict at 10%, whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. That includes 10% off of sales items. They have sale items up to 50% off. And with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off sales items as well. 20% becomes 30, 30, 40, 40, 50, 50, 60. You get the idea. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Use promo code Sports Addict to get 10% off your order. First Round Collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. I got to talk to my buddy Chris about that. How the promo code Sports Addict, but Sports Addicts no more, man. It's all Pucks Across Borders. It's all turning up pucks. And we're excited about that. Speaking of which, if you are watching on not YouTube platform, make sure to go over to our YouTube, like, subscribe, that whole deal. We appreciate it as always. Lots to get into from last night. Only 3 games in the NHL tonight. There was 4 scheduled. The game between the Calgary Flames and the Los Angeles Kings has been postponed due to the fires. So our thoughts and our prayers to everybody out there. Please be safe. I have family out there. And so keeping in contact with them, and everybody, please be safe and hope everyone is doing okay. But that 4th game has been postponed. Stuff to get into from last night, stuff to get into tonight. New setting. I'm at my in-laws. Nothing like talking some gambling at your in-laws. I hope that they're far away from this bedroom right now, but that's okay. We press on. But first, as always, Andre, how we doing on a Wednesday, bro? Good to see you.
It's good to see you. Middle of the week. We're just getting by. That's the best I got today.
That's it, man. Not every day is going to be a banger. You know what I mean? You just got to get through it sometimes. Speaking of which, dude, where do you want to go today, man? I know they announced the Winter Classic, which I know you want to talk about. This Eastern Conference playoff race continues to just, I find it so fascinating. I don't know if it's because I'm on the East Coast or what the deal is. Montreal, we're celebrating them in the playoffs. That lasted not even 24 hours. The Columbus Blue Jackets are now in that last spot. The Boston Bruins better be careful because they keep losing hockey games. And the rest of these teams, they're coming now. Detroit with a massive win against the Ottawa Senators last night. They're only 1 point back of the Senators, 2 points back of the Blue Jackets. Philly, Rangers, both of them keep losing and kind of slipping further down. Lots to get to, but quickly from last night. Hurricanes lose to the Lightning in Tampa Bay 3-2. The Oilers blank Boston 4-0 on the road. Boston getting booed off the ice at home. Red Wings beat Ottawa 3-2 at home in overtime. Dallas coming back down 3-0 early to the Rangers, come back, beat the Rangers in overtime 5-4. The Blue Jackets beat the Penguins 4-3. Maple Leafs beat the Flyers 3-2. Wild beat the Blues 6-4. Jets beat the Predators 5-2. The Ducks beat the Ducks lose to Calgary in a really, really fun game, 3-2. Calgary wins, and the Golden Knights beat the Sharks 4-2. Lots and lots of directions we could possibly go here, Andre. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So many games last night. A lot of good ones. I think probably the most consequential is probably it's between that Bruins loss, um, that Rangers loss. I'd say the Lightning win. I feel like the team that deserves the most love that should be talked about right now. I'd say your Leafs. I don't know if you want to get into that, but it's been a really good team this year.
Well,
They just won again.
I want to ask you about this because as a Leaf fan, I'm having a hard time. And the reasoning is I can't say I can't say that I'm shocked. That seems like a bit too dramatic. The Leafs are a good team. We all know they're a good team. Made it to the playoffs 8 straight years. We all knew that they would make it to the playoffs this year. What makes it hard to believe in this team is their playoff success, not their regular season success. Sheldon Keefe, who was fired in the offseason last year after their first round exit, one of the winningest head coaches in the last 5 regular seasons. The Leafs, one of the winningest franchises in the last 5 regular seasons. We all knew they'd be a very good team. I guess where I need your feedback, Andre, is can we believe in this hockey team? Is the rest of the NHL world as stunned by how this team has been playing all year long as the fans are? Because quite frankly, not only are they first place in the division, they're 6 points up of the Panthers right now. And the Panthers play tonight against Utah, and the Leafs have a really hard matchup against the Hurricanes tomorrow night. But these games that they're winning, man, they're just games that we don't see them win. The goaltending performances that we're getting, no matter who's in net, are goaltending performances that we just don't see in Toronto. What was the final shot clock? The Flyers outshot the Leafs 32-17 last night, and the Leafs pull out a 3-2 win on the road on a Tuesday. This is just they're just things that we haven't seen from this team. Mitch Marner having a phenomenal year. Matthews is back, looks really good. Nylander's having a great year. Matthew Nyes is having a breakout year. Pacioretty's been playing well. John Tavares is maybe having the best year as a Leaf that he's ever had. At least statistically, he is. There's a lot of really good stuff happening with Toronto, and it's really hard to appreciate what we're watching because of the playoff disappointments that we've seen in the past. So my question to you, Andre, is the rest of the NHL fandom and the NHL world, are you guys as surprised as I am by how this team has been playing this year?
First of all, what's up to Alfred? What's up? Am I surprised? No. Coming into this season, I thought the Leafs were going to be good. I mean, last postseason, I thought they were going to finally beat the Bruins. We don't talk about that. But coming into this season in particular, I was yet again, I was looking at this team, I was like, they're going to be good. And I specifically thought the goaltending, there was some clarity and direction with this franchise moving forward. I thought that was really going to help them. Getting a new voice in the locker room usually works out that first year, as we tend to see. I thought that was going to help them. More importantly, it's just eventually at some point, it has to be real, right? Either it's going to be real or it was going to crumble, and I chose to believe it would be real. There's too much talent there. They knew what they had to work on. You hear the noise. Eventually, it's going to get through that thick skull, and you're just going to make it happen. And when they got off to that start of this season, they and not that very first game. They got shut out their very first game.
Yeah.
Right after that, though, 4-2 win, 4-2 win, 6-2 win, 5-2 win against the Lightning. The defense, the goaltending, phenomenal. That's not what the Leafs were. I was like, okay, This is a team that even in that first loss, it was 1-0. They only allowed 1 goal. This is a team that knows, who they are, and not knows who they are, but they knew what they had to improve on. They made it happen. The goal scoring is going to be there. It will come. And even though they're not scoring the way you'd probably expect this Leafs team to score, especially with, the Matthews, Nylander, etc. on that team, they're 12th in scoring. They're fine. They're right there with the Panthers, right there with the Devils, right there with the Kings. All good teams, all playoff teams. Only 6 teams in the league right now have picked up at least 2/3 of their possible points. The Leafs are at exactly 2/3. They're 6th on that list. They're 12th in scoring, like I just said. They're 9th in goals allowed. Yeah, you want a little bit more scoring at this point. But are you worried about Toronto's offense?
No.
Has that ever been your concern with this core?
I mean, no.
Not until
Right.
the playoffs.
Yeah,
Before the
right.
playoffs.
No, I'm not.
Exactly. And they're doing that. They're 12th in scoring. The power play has been mediocre, 20.7%. The playoffs are going to be a concern for this team. But again, this is the important part. We've said this so many times. They're avoiding that 2 and 3 spot this year, at least for right now. They look like they're going to win the division. They have the inside edge, obviously, as they're 6 points up. They've flat out been better than Florida and Tampa, the 2 competitors you would think for that spot. And who are they going to play? They're going to get rewarded with that mosh pit at the bottom of the Eastern Conference that you're enthralled with. They're going to get Montreal, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Ottawa. It might be the 2 of us. Who knows? Anybody could be that last team in the Eastern Conference. That's who Toronto's going to get, and that's what you want. Last year, the team that finished first in the Eastern Conference, they had a cakewalk into the second round. It was a sweep, easy. I don't even think did the Rangers trail at all in that series?
I don't think so.
They might have trailed for
They
like
may
30
have trailed
seconds
like
in
the
game 3.
beginning of a game or something.
Yeah, I think they trailed for like 30 seconds in game 3. That's it. It was a cakewalk. Toronto might get an even easier path than that. So if you're looking at a team that they've had troubles defensively and in net for the past, would you say 8 years, you're looking at a team that they play the Bruins and the Lightning every single first round, and that's basically why they never advance. They're avoiding all of that right now. And that has to be so encouraging, especially when the power play and the offense hasn't been at its best, because you're going to get an easy matchup in the first round. You have a better power play on that roster right now, and we've all seen it before. You get to the second round, and suddenly you have fresh life. I know what happened last time. Was that 2 years ago? Move on. You get to the second round, the monkey's off your back. That's the thing that's dragging this franchise down. Get those first 4 wins, get that first series, get some rest. You will be good, because the Panthers, the Lightning, whoever awaits you in that next round, it's probably going to be one of those 2. It almost exclusively has to be. I doubt it would be Boston at this point. Whoever it is, yes, they're going to be tough, but they're not. The Leafs should be better rested. And the Leafs have shown that they can compete with anybody this year, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the conversation that's happening up here is this conversation of, playing the right way and playing the way. That's why the Panthers have been so great in the playoffs the last couple of years, is because their regular season play and their regular season style translates really well into the playoffs. I would say the same thing about Dallas the last couple years. I would say the same thing about Vegas Golden Knights the last couple years. I would also say the same thing about the Rangers the last couple years. Not saying anything about this year, but that's what a lot of the conversation's been about surrounding the Maple Leafs. So that the way they're playing, they can win these 2-1, 3-2 games that they just haven't been able to win in the past. I'm excited for it. I love watching it as a fan. I I love watching it. And I also love that I'm covering the Dallas Stars now because I can just watch a Leaf game and like just be a fan and not have to put on my like journalist hat. I can just watch it and enjoy it and ride the emotions of it. And yeah, we'll see what happens. That's the funny thing though, Andre, right? Is like everybody's going on about how like, well, they're not scoring as many goals or their power play is this and that. It's like, well, listen, every year in the playoffs, the goaltending and the defense are not the problem. It's the goal scoring. So we'll see what happens moving forward. And it's funny what you're saying because we are noticing that whether it's Tampa Bay, whether it's Boston, and I do think Tampa Bay is a really good team. I do. And I think that they are a much better team than the Boston Bruins are. But what we're seeing right now is Toronto Maple Leafs, 56 points, top of the Atlantic. Boston Bruins, third in the Atlantic. They have 45 points. They're 11 points back. It looks like Toronto, unless something crazy happens, Toronto's pretty much locked into that number 1, number 2 spot in the division, guaranteeing home ice in the first round. That's the ironic part right now, though, is that if the playoffs started tomorrow, the Leafs would be playing Tampa Bay, which you can't help but kind of smile at that and laugh at it. What else is on your mind from yesterday or from news that was dropped today?
You mentioned Tampa. Let's just talk about Florida. Let's specifically talk about the Florida Sun in January. The Winter Classic, man.
Yes, sir.
They're finally doing it. Miami, 2026, January 2nd, 2026. They're going to South Beach. I think specifically, if I remember correctly, they're playing in Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins. I'll have to double check.
I think you're right about that.
And
yeah.
Is Lone Depot Park open? Is it an open park? Or does it has like a retractable roof, right?
It's retractable.
Okay. I'm very intrigued about what's going to happen down there. Obviously, the temperature is the cause for concern right away. You saw what happened in Lake Tahoe. They had to suspend that game, right? Because the ice just couldn't hold up. So Miami's going to be interesting in that regard. I know it has this past week, I think, actually been freezing in Miami, which is weird. Usually doesn't happen.
Well,
but
Dallas is expecting a bunch of snow this week too. Some weird stuff going on down there.
It's a lot of weird stuff going on everywhere. But I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not a climate scientist. What I am is a hockey talker.
You're a talker for sure.
I don't know. That was a bad way to say I was a talker. It's gonna be. It's about time that they did this. I'm glad they finally bit the bullet. Rangers versus Panthers matchup or rematch from last year's Eastern Conference Finals should be interesting if the Rangers remember how to play hockey again. Should be physical for sure.
Yeah.
I think they avoided using Tampa for this game because usually they do like rivalries, like undeniable rivalries for a Winter Classic, right? I think they avoided using the Lightning. That was the easy choice for the Florida Winter Classic because the Rangers helped draw eyeballs. I know they moved the Winter Classic this year to New Year's Eve rather than New Year's Day. Next year it's January 2nd. I think they're trying new things. Like you said, I think they're trying before the show. They're trying new things to, I don't know, hopefully get some eyeballs, see what time slot works. I think the Rangers are kind of the guinea pig for that. One of the biggest markets, kind of a rivalry there with the Panthers growing because of physicality. So it's going to be interesting for sure. The festivities around it, how they maintain the ice, the crowd turnout, especially it might be very mixed, we'll say, despite it being in Florida. So it's going to be really interesting what happens next year in the Winter Classic.
I think that's so first of all, I haven't looked into this at all. I haven't read anything about it or watched anything about it. So you know way more about this than I do. But I would assume that they're doing it in that stadium Well, also, there's not too many other outdoor stadiums, I guess the football field. But I'm assuming that they're doing it in that stadium because it is temperature controlled. Like, I'm assuming with the roof, they can kind of manipulate the temperature if the roof is closed. I'm assuming. Because not only will it be hot, but like the sun will be shining. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if it's warm, the sun is still going to, that's going to do its damage as well. The other thing that I'm interested in watching, off the top of your head, do you know how big that stadium is? Because typically baseball fields are between 38 and 55,000, right? Roughly.
Yeah. I know Lone Depot Park tends to host the World Baseball Classic, and those are obviously
Yeah.
huge. Marlins games don't sell out, so it's hard to judge on that. Like I'd assume it's like between 35 and
And that
40,000. That would be my
yeah, and that's
guess.
what I'm interested in, because let's just be real about this. They don't sell out games in Sunrise already. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
So, are you going to get 45,000 people there? And are they all going to be Rangers fans? Like, that's what's going to be really interesting for me. But it's cool that they're doing it. This crew that does the ice. I was listening to a radio broadcast the day of the Winter Classic this year, and they were talking about just how flawless these guys. Because remember when this first started, and there was always concern about the ice, always. And now they just have this down to a science, and the ice is just flawless. It's perfect all the time. It was like raining in Chicago for most of New Year's Eve, and there wasn't one complaint about the weather, about the rain, about the ice at all. Um, so we'll see what happens with that moving forward. 3 games in the NHL to get to tonight. I'm just double checking if there's anything else from last night. I will say, man, not to rub it in, but when the Dallas Stars were down 3-0 in the first 10 minutes of that hockey game against the Rangers last night, and they were the better team. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. They were losing to the Rangers. They can't buy a save on the road, typically the Stars. They haven't been good on the road. And through 10 minutes, the Rangers are up 3-0, and you're like, hasn't Dallas dominated this game? What in the world's happening here? And Dallas finds a way to come back and win. That, watching the Rangers firsthand last night, that when that overtime goal went in, I know Fox was one of the defensemen there. I know it was Keandre Miller's guy who went in and got the goal, but who was it? Keandre Miller or was it Trocheck? Who was it that smashed his stick across the post? Do you remember?
Um, I'm trying to remember the 3 guys that were on the ice. Well, not remember 3 guys on the ice. It was Fox, Troch, and Key. Or not Key. It was Lindgren. It was Fox, Lindgren, and Zibanejad.
Oh,
I
it was
believe
Miller.
it was Lindy who did it. No,
Yeah, I can't remember. It was why I'm thinking Miller. It was Miller who
Miller had
lost
the
his man on the game
yeah,
tying goal. That's what.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. As soon as that overtime goal by Jamie Benn went in, and I guess it was Lindgren, that you could tell everybody on the ice, just the deflation of like, how did this happen? Like another, I don't know. That was the first time, because you and I had a conversation about this the other day, man, where I was like, listen, the Rangers are right there in the playoff race. I trust them more than all these other garbage teams. And that was the first time firsthand where you could just, not you, me, where I could feel just the deflation of this season and how heavy this has been on them as players. And poor Jonathan Quick, like you get a 3-0 lead. I'm not saying it's his fault by any means, but
Oh yeah, I know.
he's been stuck on 399 wins forever. Like he just wants his 400th win. He's like, I know we're garbage. I know we suck. I know we're not going to do anything. Just can I get my 400th win, please? Maybe he'll never get it. Maybe this is where it ends.
Yeah, maybe that's the curse, No, Jordan Ramos is not in the chat, but as he loves to tell us every time
I wish
we're
he
live,
was.
the Rangers are cooked. Yeah.
I wish he was in the chat.
Oh, that would have been a perfect convo for him.
Yeah. It was a huge win for the Stars. We can talk about that another time, but yeah, that was the first time. Hey, Brady, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. We cannot tonight, my friend. I am sorry. We will do late night streams again at some point in time. Maybe we'll do them permanently. I don't know, but we won't be able to right now. And you know what, man? Brady, are you going to be on with us for the next 5 minutes or what? Let's see what he says in the chat.
Guy comes in, makes demands all the way from British Columbia.
I know.
Is 3 hours behind.
I know.
Who does he think he is?
It's like lunchtime over there. Because you know what? If Brady's going to be here, let's just segue right into tonight's games. No 7:00 games tonight because, or not because of anything. There just isn't. I was gonna throw out some big reason. The truth is, there is no reason. But let's go. Where are we here? All right, bro. You can only listen.
It's all good.
That's all you need to do, bro. Let's start talking Vancouver Canucks. And again, as always, all of our betting talks always brought to you by First Round Collectibles. The Vancouver Canucks plus 150, plus 152 now. Some Washington money coming in. Washington minus 184 at home. Minus 1.5 are the Capitals plus 138. Plus 1.5 for the Canucks is minus 170. Over 5.5 minus 114. Under 5.5 minus 106. I heard a rumor that the Rangers offered the Canucks. Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Zibanejad for JT Miller. Listen, I love Zibanejad. He's having a tough season. Not the player he once was. That is the worst trade. If that is true, then Chris Drury should be fired. If he legit thought that trade was going to fly, you wouldn't even offer that deal, bro. Come on.
Imagine he says yes, though. Shoot or shoot.
That's true.
Shoot or shoot.
That's true. All right. Brady in the chat. For those of you watching who don't know who Brady is or what he is, we don't know what he is, but we do know that he is in Vancouver, a Vancouver Canucks fan. Yes, Brady, we said that the other day as well. Congrats to Team USA, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, whatever. Andre, Brady says this is easy. Tell him how easy it is and why it's Capitals minus 1.5.
He followed up on it in the next comment. It's so easy. You take USA, the nation's capital, the Washington Capitals. They're going to beat Canada again. No, in all seriousness, though, fading Vancouver in particular has been a very profitable business for the past month. I like the talent on that team. I don't know what happened between Pettersson and Miller. That's apparently thrown everything off course. Seems very familiar, actually. Maybe us Rangers fans and Canucks fans, maybe you should start a therapy group. Anyway, what I do know
JT Miller's the problem.
Hey, I mean, we traded him for a reason.
I guess so.
Not the same reason, but we traded him for a reason. You gotta fade the Canucks here. I mean, they've lost 7 of their last 9. They got shut out at home against Nashville. I think that's the most damning of them all. You look at what they've done on the road in that stretch. They're 1-4, so it's really rough. And I know the Capitals, they lost in Buffalo the other night. The Sabres are weird. You don't know what you're going to get with them. We do know the Capitals 13-4-3 at home this season. Obviously, one of the most dangerous offenses in the league right now, especially with Ovi just coming back. He keeps scoring. And if you say, the Capitals are going to score their customary 4, I guess they average 3.5 at home, but let's just call it 4 goals tonight. Do you have the Canucks keeping up with that on the road the way they've been playing? Probably not. I'm going to take Washington -1.5 here, and I'm definitely going to take the over 5.5. I think that's just way too low for these teams.
Yeah, this is what it is, man. And Brady, we love you, man, and we appreciate you watching. But this is just, you're talking about trying to be objective. I don't believe you, but I appreciate the sentiment. This is what it is, man. Like, Pettersson's not playing tonight. JT Miller, if you want to bet anything to do with Vancouver on the positive side, bet him to score or get a point or his shot total, because that guy is producing every single night. That is the truth of it. But don't have Demko. Pettersson's out. Quinn Hughes, my opinion, the best defenseman in the league right now. I think he's having the best defense, the best season of any defenseman, in my opinion. I would take him over Kel McCarr. That's my opinion. But this team is just not in a good spot right now. And I'll tell you something else, Andre. If we're going to bring down Brady's team, and my team is just so good, so we can't do anything but my team, I'll bring down your team at the same time. The Vancouver Canucks record is 18, or let's do Rangers. The Rangers record, because we've been really hard on the Rangers, right? You and our guy Jordan keep saying they're cooked, they're cooked, they're cooked. Watch this. Rangers 18-20-2, right? 38 points. The Vancouver Canucks are the New York Rangers. There's just one big difference.
Losers point.
That's the big thing. That's what's been keeping Vancouver's season alive, is just dragging these games to overtime. And it's nothing. Hey, they're doing it. They're dragging them to overtime. They're getting the loser's point. This is a very good team. They won the division last year. Just like the Rangers are a very good team. They won the President's Trophy last year. I'm a Vancouver fan. I love Vancouver. I want them to do well. This is just being realistic about where they are right now. And I'm taking Washington -1.5 as well. On the where are we here? Alex Ovechkin +130 for him to score. JT Miller is +340. Didn't he get 2 the other night? I know he got 1 for sure. He may have gotten 2 the other night.
I mean, I don't really care how many he got the other night. It's JT Miller. He did have 2 on Saturday.
Yeah,
but
so +340 for him to score tonight is fantastic value. Brock Besser +210, which is also terrific value. And to get 1 point, JT Miller -156, not great value. But for 1 point to throw that in a parlay, that's not awful. For him to get 2 points is +330. So again, that's really good value right there. The total, probably stay away from it. I agree with what you said. I'm a little bit more tentative on how to play the total, but I'm taking Washington -1.5 as well. All right, moving on. Colorado in Chicago. I love how we just, Brady's on. Let's talk about how much Vancouver is going to get killed by tonight. Colorado in Chicago. Colorado finding ways to win every night. Chicago is not doing that. Chicago plus 195 at home, Colorado minus 240 on the road. Those odds have shifted. Chicago's now plus 198, while the Avalanche are minus 245. Colorado minus 1.5 is plus 102. Chicago plus 1.5 is minus 124. The over 6.5 is minus 128. And the under is plus 104. What do you got here, man? Colorado, Chicago in the Windy City.
One of the easiest picks I think I'll ever make, especially since the puck line's plus money. Colorado minus 1.5 here. Let's do some quick math. Last 7 games for both teams. The Blackhawks, 1-6, negative 17 goal differential. The Avs, 6-1, plus 13 goal differential. And really, that one goal I had to ding from Colorado was in a shootout. It really shouldn't even count. And they won the game before that 7-game stretch started. I mean, you look at the Avs, they're red hot. They're 11-2-1 in their last 14, 9 of those wins by multiple goals. The Blackhawks, worst record in the league, second lowest goal differential. They're the team losing to teams like the Rangers and the Canucks right now when nobody else is. So you got to take that puck line while it's still plus money. Colorado minus 1.5 here for me. It's easy.
Yeah, I'll be real, man. These first 2 games, betting wise, feels way too easy. And it makes me a little bit uncomfortable how slam dunkish this feels. I'm right there with you. Colorado minus 1.5. I watched, we watch these games every night. There's all these games every night. We watch as much of what we can and blah, blah, blah. I watched a lot of that game against Florida the other night, and this Colorado team, they're just finding ways to get it done, man. There's things that concern me. You're concerned about how top heavy they are. Their defense has really rounded it into form. Remember, we've been worried about that for a good portion of the first half of the season. And their goaltending, I know Wedgwood's hurt right now, but their goaltending, they've fixed it, completely revamped it, shipped everybody in their system basically out. A Noonan, I'm pretty sure he's gone, right? A Noonan's gone. Georgiev's gone. Everyone's gone. Bringing in these guys. Blackwood is not only here, but he's extended 7-1-1 in his games starting for the Avalanche. So while they're top heavy, yes, their defensive issues and their goaltending issues seem to be resolved, at least right now. I'm taking minus 1.5 too. Chicago's just going through it right now, man. They can't find ways to win. They are. I know that they're only on a 1-game losing streak, which means they won recently, 4-6 in their last 10. But against this Colorado team, they're feeling it. And I like what I'm seeing from the Avalanche, and I expect them to win by 2 or more. One more game to get to tonight, and I gotta tell you, I'm having a bit of a hard time reading this game, because I don't really love what I'm seeing from the Panthers recently, but Utah, they're awful at home. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Florida Panthers in Utah to take on the Hockey Club. Minus 146 are the Panthers on the road. Plus 122 are the Hockey Club at home. Minus 1.5 for Florida's plus 172. Plus 1.5 for the Hockey Club is minus 215. The over is 5.5 at minus 128. And the under is plus 104. What do you got? Panthers, Hockey Club in Utah.
I was really hoping you would have something because I feel the same way. I don't trust either of these teams.
Yeah, I don't.
At least not right now. The Panthers, they've lost 4 of their last 6. consistently allowing 3+ goals. Only twice they scored 3 themselves. And again, one of those was a shootout. Shouldn't even count it. Only once have they scored at least 3 goals in that stretch. Then you go to Utah, like you said, 5-7-4 at home. Not good at all. Just ended a road trip where they went 3-4. This is a team that's lost 6 of their last 7. In 5 of those games, they scored 2 or fewer goals. In every single one, they allowed at least 3 goals. What am I supposed to do with that?
Don't know.
What am I supposed to do with that? I want to take the over, but neither team is scoring. So then do you take the under? No, both teams are allowing a ton of goals. Do you trust the side to win? Neither team's winning. You got to find player props here. You got to find value outside of the main lines because there's not a lot of trust going around in this. I will say, I almost said the Jazz. Wow, the hockey club. They are. I mean, I guess both sides are really, but because the Panthers have done it 4 in a row, but the hockey club is pretty consistently allowing 29, 30 or more shots on goal. So if that's something that interests you, a Panthers player getting a ton of shots, the Panthers are a team that, as is, averages the 5th most shots per game. There could be some value in that. I could see that one. If you want to go to the goalies instead and say Vejmelka is going to have, a ton of saves, he's over 27.5 at -105. That might be worth it too. Bob over 25.5 is -115. The Panthers, like I just said, have allowed more than 30 shots in 4 straight. So that also has some value, but I'm not picking the side here. I'm not picking the total here. It's got to be props or bust for this one.
Yeah. I think I'm there with you. I start off my first immediate lean is under. This does feel like a 3-2 game or 3-1 game, something like that. That being said, what you said is absolutely true. Both these teams are allowing a bunch of goals right now. I feel so. Yeah, man. My immediate lean is the under. And when it comes to player props, dude, like you can find value in the shot props and in some power play points and in the assist props and stuff. But when you look at the last 5 games, like, Boakfist, 4 points in his last 5 games. He's your knight in shining armor. You know what I mean? So there is value in this game. I personally probably staying away. I feel like the first 2 games have a lot of really good value. And now we could make this extremely simple where Florida has just had a hard time keeping consistency, keeping rhythm. They're on the road. Maybe this is a really good spot for Utah to kind of bounce back and get that underdog win. Florida hasn't been super convincing. They have been allowing a lot of goals, and they're on this road trip right now. So maybe this is a good spot for Utah plus 122. I don't hate it, but I don't trust it, and I'm probably staying away as well. I think there's wonderful, wonderful value in both those contests earlier tonight. But now that the more I talk, the more I convince myself, to gamble. So I'm Utah on the money line. The more I talk, the more I actually kind of don't mind it. But probably staying away is the best option. All right, moving on to our best bets. Probably the only best bet segment ever where Andre probably doesn't have to say another word for this whole show. I feel like we know exactly. I feel like we know exactly what we're doing here. Best bets brought to you by First Round Collectibles, as always. Right now, with our promo code Sports Addict, get 10% off whatever sports card you want in the entire First Round Collectibles store. Sales items, regular price items, it doesn't matter. You get 10% off with the promo code Sports Addict. Go to firstroundcollectibles.com today. Promo code Sports Addict for 10% off your order. Firstroundcollectibles.com. First round collectibles, sports cards for sports fans. So we know are the bets. The only question is who's going to throw out what? Andre? Go for it.
See, part of me wants to spare you from having to fade your country, your countrymen
Nah, it's
tonight, but
Vancouver.
they're my Western Conference champions. Of course, I'm going to take them. Colorado Avalanche -1.5. Let's go, Avs.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm taking Washington Capitals -1.5. The one prop I actually want to throw out just to put a quick little timeout on this best bets segment is Jake DeBrusk. There's a lot of really good value on this guy. I believe, top of my head, 17 goals, 12 assists so far this season, having a really good year for Vancouver. And there is a lot of really good value on him. He is plus 280 to score tonight. He is. Where is it? Sorry, one sec. He is plus 114 to get a point tonight. And he is. Sorry, 3 shots. Where'd you go? Where did you go? Plus 168 to get 3 shots. Jake DeBrusk is underground, like lots of really, really good value. He's been really producing all year long. So if we're talking strictly positive Vancouver bets, I really like anything to do with Jake DeBrusk. That guy is playing really well, producing at a really nice level. We'll take him. But we are taking Washington -1.5, plus 138 all day long.
I appreciate you trying to be nice to Brady. It was really
I'm
touching.
trying, man.
Yeah.
Dude, Jake DeBrusk, he has had a really good season.
Yeah. I would have just faded him. See, you're appealing. You're kind. You're caring. That's why
I'm trying.
You're the best of us, Dent.
Well, you know, everyone's really sensitive up here right now. Lots going on up here.
Yeah. About to become a. Actually, never mind. I'll say that off camera.
That's so funny, man. Oh, dude. At least I know what you're talking about. We'll save it another day. That's really funny. Whatever, man. I'm already half American. It makes no difference to me. I'm the same. It doesn't matter. I already got American in my blood. So it's all good.
That means so you were celebrating the World Juniors then, right? The big win.
No.
Best country on the planet.
No.
And our
No.
30 whatever some cups in a row. You know,
you're the best country on the planet. You're just not my home.
I
love Canada,
I don't know,
but I can't. Don't
best
get me
country
started.
on the planet's
like
it's an
Australia
aggressive
or something.
line. Yeah.
All right. What does DK have for these bets?
Oh man, I forgot we were still on best bets. I have plus.
Yeah, we're still live. I don't know if you knew that.
Should I add DeBrusk? I didn't add DeBrusk.
Nah.
I have just the 2 puck lines. I have a plus 388. Washington Capitals -1.5. I have a plus 142. Colorado Avalanche -1.5 has dropped to plus 102, but together it's plus 388.
Yeah, plus 102 Colorado -1.5, plus 138 Washington -1.5 is plus 380. Now, to your previous question, I do think if we're adding anything to do with Jake DeBrusk, I would say 3+ shots. Just because we are taking Washington -1.5. If you're taking him for a goal or a point, then that result obviously has to happen. Where I think 3+ shots is a bit more realistic for Vancouver tonight. Plus 168. If you do that, that bumps the parlay all the way up to plus 1009 or 10. Wow, that makes no sense. 1091.
Gotcha. Yeah, those are a little risky. at least the
Yeah.
goal scoring thing. I do have, since we have a little bit of time, an anecdote. 2023 World Series, Game 1, Diamondbacks at Texas Rangers. I bet on a Corey Seager home run and the Diamondbacks to win the game. Diamondbacks were up 4-2 in the ninth inning. I'm sure most of you don't remember this game at this point. Corey Seager hits a 2-run homer to tie it. I was like, yes, we're halfway there. And I realized, no, now the Diamondbacks aren't winning. I need them to win in extras. Of course, they don't win in extras. Dolis Garcia, sent the crowd home in a frenzy. But moral of the story, it is very tough to bet on good things for both teams. But it pays off
Well,
if it hits.
Well, I had a 4. I don't think I told you about this. I had a 4 anytime touchdown parlay 2 weeks ago. 4 touchdowns. It was Jefferson, Spears, oh man, was it Saquon? No. Jefferson, Spears, AJ Brown, and another guy that I'm forgetting. And 2 of them hit like within 30 minutes, like at like 1:30, 2 of them hit, and I could cash out for a third of the value. And it's like, yeah, why did I put Spears on this? He's not getting a touchdown. Cashed out and it hit and it freaking crushed me. So I still got money, but it wasn't very. It was a little bit
Yeah,
depressing.
Tajay Spears is bold. You were
Yeah,
really
man.
doing your research that day.
Sometimes I do research. Not for this show, obviously, but sometimes I do.
We don't need research for this show. Canucks bad, Rangers bad, Blackhawks bad. That was the whole
That's
show.
all.
We're good.
That's
Florida
all you need
hot,
to know.
usually.
Yeah. Florida hot, Rangers bad, Vegas good. That's all you need to know for this show. Everybody, thank you so much as always for joining us. We really, really appreciate you. Every single one of you. Join us back tomorrow around the same time. I haven't even looked. How many? It's Thursday.
Oh, it's like 11 tomorrow, right?
Total Apex Sports. We appreciate them very, very much. Lots of great content for college and NFL. First round collectibles, 10% off your order. Promo code Sports Addict. We'll see you next time.